Kevin.
Hey, guys, it's Amber.
And Kristen.
And today we are coming at you with all of the devastation that is happening around with this crazy weather in the U.S. right now.
And this is going to be our first time without Danny. So if something goes on,
let us know.
Hang with us.
If you're on this live and you can't hear us, you can't see us, we don't make any sense. Maybe not.
I'm getting ready to not make sense for just 5 seconds.
But yes, if you can just let us know because we have our lovely Trish helping us today. So bear with us on this.
Yep, keep talking. You're good.
That was better.
So if you can hear us, let us know so that we know you can hear us.
Yeah, we're going to stay here for just a minute just to make sure, let people get on here. So we can make sure that we can be heard.
I guess I can turn my volume up on my phone, huh?
Let people get on here.
We're good.
Good. Okay. All right, so let's dive into this. Everybody knows right now that there are devastating fires going on in California and the Palisades and eating all of that area of California, which we want to send our condolences out to all of those who have lost homes or loved ones. Anything that's going on, we understand that it is very devastating, and our prayers and thoughts are with you.
Yeah, because unfortunately there's been 10 deaths so far,
and
it's just growing because now, yesterday when we were doing our research, it said there was only like 27,000 or 29,000 acres, and now it's up to 35,000. So it's burning quick, and that's what I was looking into when everything started going wrong this morning. But there is 2 different types of winds that come into California. The Santa Ana winds and then the mountain wave winds. So the Santa Ana winds are, I'm going to read off this because if not, I'll get it completely wrong. They originate out of the desert and become increasingly warmer as they rush towards Southern California. Then the mountain waves winds hit the mountain range perpendicular to the mass and become dramatically compressed. These can reach well over 100 miles per hour and act like a tornado.
So is the winds, because I've looked to see, because I know several years ago when the forest fires hit Gatlinburg, there was a cause behind that. I mean, I think somebody had thrown out a cigarette or something.
I actually found the cause of the ones that are going on right now.
So what has happened with the cause?
It says campfires, burning debris, equipment use and equipment malfunction, cigarette discard, and intentional arson. So it's
man-made. Because everywhere that I looked was saying, oh, it was just strong winds. It was strong winds. And I was like, that does not make sense to me.
No. The strong winds make sense as far as how fast it's spreading.
Yes.
Yeah, because they say an ember can go a mile under a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get the winds is what's spreading it, but what caused it is what.
Well, that's what it's man-made. Unfortunately, that we've caused it. And
well, I see that that area anyway is always so dry. It's a very brittle, dry area.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting ready to look at because I was wondering how if they've been burning the underbrush any, because they used to burn the underbrush to keep the fires from spreading so bad. And I know that I believe it was in Hawaii, which is where these horrible devastation like this happened. They had stopped burning.
In Maui.
And I'm wondering if they have done that in California to keep them from spreading so quickly, because it's spreading up mountains and stuff, and it's spreading into all these homes, and you have shut off the water sources. So nobody can even fight the fires themselves. You're not bringing in the water. The reservoirs are empty.
Let's talk about this water source, because that is something that when I started looking into it, they have stopped filling these reservoirs. They have stopped filling the reservoirs. As a matter of fact, now from what I've seen, there was a lawsuit back in 2021 that stopped this over the smelt.
The fishies.
Yeah, the smelt fish, Delta smelt or something like that, and the salmon, however y'all want to say it, but
salmon.
Yeah.
But
so
that's the thing. There's plenty of water. As far as the ocean, like bring in the ocean water. You are literally look at all the wildlife that it's killing. So yes, I get that an endangered fish needs to be saved. I completely agree. Whatever. However, you're ignoring all of the other wildlife that's being killed right now.
Or how about
not to mention the people?
Yeah, I was going to say, how about mankind?
And I'm sorry, but how many more devastating hits can the United States take right now? Because we have Maui, California, Helene.
And Helene took out North Carolina, Tennessee,
West Virginia.
Was it
Virginia?
Virginia. And there's people still in the North Carolina mountains right now in Asheville that is living in tents, literally living in tents. Now I don't know, of course, what the weather looks like in Carolina right now, but I know what the weather looks like here, and it's snowing and it's icy and it's cold. I could not imagine.
It's a little wet.
Yeah, I could not imagine living in a tent in a mountain in this weather. I just couldn't.
Oh, for sure. Even staying out of the wind when you're in North Carolina and stuff, if you're up in the mountains, that wind will cut through you. And the cold,
mountain air and
no joke.
Weather is a lot worse than if you're down ground level, you know. But and here's the thing, so I'm gonna go ahead and just throw this out here. No, I'm not trying to get political, but what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. I mean, that's just how I look at it with things. So the Amish community in North Carolina went in and started building tiny homes, what they call tiny homes. And this was little shed-like cabins that they were building free of charge. Like they brought in their equipment, they brought in the work to do it. They were building these to get people out of these tents.
Yep.
The governor of North Carolina shut that down and sent those people back into their tents because the tiny homes were not up to code. Up to code. Now,
well, I'm sure their tents aren't up to code either.
I was going to say, what the hell is a tent? Is a tent up to code?
No. Well, and that's the thing. That's what's so frustrating is that you have in Maui where they only got $700. Now you have them saying that they're fully behind California.
100% for 180 days is what California is.
Yeah, and then you sit here though, and you step back, and it's no one state or the other. The problem is that one state is being chosen over the others because North Carolina.
If you look on all of the news medias right now, California is being covered on everything.
And you don't hear any more about North Carolina or Tennessee or all the devastation that happened out there. And I'm sorry, but that devastation was way worse.
It is. And Maui is still being rebuilt. Like Maui is not even finished. They're still finding people over there. They're still finding people in North Carolina.
Yep. Well, and they've said that there's going to be the recovery efforts in North Carolina are just going to be never ending. And they're never going to find everybody that was washed away. And the problem is that they didn't realize that those floods were going to be so bad, and nobody evacuated.
No, and another thing is they did not, and I don't know if they could not or if they just did not. I don't know if the insurance companies were saying no, you don't have to have the flood insurance or whatever because you're in the mountains. This doesn't happen. Floods doesn't happen. Whatever the case may be, they did not have
the flood insurance.
And I looked up that several of the insurance companies. Look, I'm swinging my earpiece around.
I've been watching you this whole time.
Several of the insurance companies in California have canceled
their insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, where did that get anybody? Because if you cancel your insurance, for one, you know that California that's one of the worst places for a fire. right?
Yeah, they have it every year. There is a huge, devastating forest fire every year that takes out communities all around.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes twice a year.
And it's never going to end because it is that bad.
Yeah.
And nobody is talking about the devastation that's going to be ongoing and that is going to need to be fixed because there's going to be a lot. I think I just said it, like, how much more can the United States take? Because we're on fire on the west and we're underwater in the east.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they're not underwater anymore. However, the recovery efforts are still ongoing.
Still yeah. Well, and in Texas, like there's freezing weathers, there's freezing conditions in Texas right now, down around Corpus Christi.
Mm-hmm.
They have freezing weather right now, so they're going to be hit with all that because that's something that they're not used to seeing, having.
Yep. Yeah, and I think I was talking to you about it, and I said it kind of funny. There's nothing ever funny about death. Let me be very, very clear. Sometimes I misspeak. So it's funny how I said it, but I was like, look up the frozen old people in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Because a few years back, it might have been last year, there was a really bad freeze. And
I looked it up. It was 2 years ago.
Where their houses aren't equipped to hold in the heat.
Freezing,
yeah, it just, the older people, they couldn't make it.
Which, I mean, even now, even in the state that we're in Kentucky, go and check on your elderly folks. If you have elderly neighbors, elderly parents, anybody in your community, check in on those elderly people.
And let me be very clear. If anybody needs anything, I am the moron that will go and get it for you. I don't care what the roads look like. If it is something, a prescription, some form of food, anything, you can't get out on the roads. I have a 4-wheel drive. I will do whatever is needed. I don't care. I don't mind. I'm not going to guilt you if something happens to me while I'm out on the roads. It was my decision. I want to help. I've always been the type to go out and help everybody. So do not feel like you can't get the help because it is there. And I don't ask for anything.
I mean, here, I know we kind of jumped subject a little bit, but when you started talking about the elderly people, that's what got me on here on this, because there are warming centers around. So if you are cold, I think each community has a warming center somewhere that you can go to warm up. Now, as far as, let's get back on subject here now, since we got off of that.
I think it's just where the weather is so bad here right now too, and not that our weather is not as bad as everywhere else. Kentucky is very well equipped to take care of this, but it's just the first,
it's hitting everywhere, and
few snows of the year.
Scary. It's scary. So there are, a couple of episodes back we talked about conspiracy theories, and there are some conspiracy theories surrounding
that was me.
This that's going on with all this weather.
Yeah, because I was looking those up. So, and a lot of people talk about this, but that the government controls the weather. Do I believe that? I don't know, honestly.
Now, I know in some states they have admitted to going and putting, like, what do you call it?
The chemtrails.
Yeah, the clouds in the sky. But in some states they have done that.
They admit to doing that, but the problem is that it's not called that. So I Googled what they say chemtrail stands for, because when we talk to you all, we don't want to give any misinformation. But it says a visible trail left in the sky by an aircraft and believed by some to consist of chemical or biological agents released as part of a covert operation. So basically, the hurricanes, the floods, the weather heating up, getting too cold, the unusual weather that we're having. Because do I believe in climate change? I don't know. I feel like there's so many arguments on both sides of that, but because they say that that's why our weather's changing so much.
Right.
But I don't know how much I believe that. I just feel like if you look in history, like ever so many decades, we have devastating weather. So is this just a repeat kind of? I don't know.
Is it our time?
Yeah, because I wasn't alive for it. So
rotations of the Earth.
Speaking of the rotation of the Earth, have you seen where Mars is going to be the closest it's been in years on January the 15th?
No.
Squirrel.
Obviously.
But I actually brought this up last time because they are going to have the planets are going to align on the 25th. and you'll be able to see it.
Like visually from the naked eye, you'll be able to walk outside.
You will be able to see it. And you will be able to see on the 12th is going to be when Mars is the closest to Earth. The 15th, Mars and the moon is going to pass between the Earth and Mars.
Can you see that as well?
And we are going to be closer to the sun than Mars. So I'm a sky freak. Like I love anything in the sky. So I think that's so cool.
That is cool. I mean, I don't dig into it. If I walked outside and I seen it, I would be like, oh, well, that's kind of cool.
I'm going to be really sad if it's cloudy.
But I don't like dig into it.
But yeah, so I mean,
so you had said, just like you said, the weather is being controlled.
Space lasers.
Yeah, space lasers.
They're saying that lasers are, and then that's like in Maui they said that nothing blue burned. So they had like a saying for the space lasers or whatever. Do I think it's weird? Yes. Do I believe that
is that the blue beam effect? I
don't remember exactly what they called it because it was really weird. But there was so much visual and like things from the helicopter and stuff where it showed like everything blue made it, like blue cars and everything.
I mean, shit, the way the internet is anymore,
you never know what's true.
Yeah, you don't even videos that they say is live because of all the AI stuff. Right before we went on, I was watching a supposed live video on Facebook of the fires in California. This random guy was standing on the side of the road, and he had filmed an area that had a brand new area that had just caught fire. And it was a very small brush fire at first. And he was showing it or whatever. He showed the first responders driving by, and he was like, oh, okay, they're here. So they can get this under control before it gets bad. Supposedly in this video, the first responders just kept on going. The wind picked up. It flung the embers into another brush pile that caught on fire. And so he was standing on the side of the road, just him.
Yeah.
And then all these first responders were driving by him. Now, do I believe that? I don't know. Like, I mean,
some
possibly,
stuff,
maybe it wasn't as bad as a fire as what was going on.
I was about to say, some stuff is so believable. And it's like, do I believe in conspiracies? No. I mean, but do a lot of conspiracies come true? Yeah. But I'm the type of person there has to be some form of proof.
Yeah.
And some things are so believable these days that it's hard to know.
To tell the difference between what's true and what is fake.
Yeah, because there's some things that I'll look at and I'm like, there's no way that's not true.
Yeah.
And then you'll find something else and it's on a totally different site and it's completely opposite of what you just read. And it's like,
well, it's like all these fires.
That argument was
these fires are very true. It's happening all around us. But that particular lie that I seen, was that something that was true?
Was it true? Yeah, because there's a video, I don't know if anybody else has seen it. If you TikTok, you've probably seen it. If not, you can look it up, of a plane that is leaving Cali in the middle of the night, and it shows the fires burning in the middle of LA and stuff. Like, not LA,
Palestine.
I don't think that's how you say it.
Palestine. I wrote it down.
Either way, but you can see the
Palisades.
Yeah, I was like, Palestine is a little bit further. But it's probably warm there.
Palisades, yeah.
But
Eatonhurst, Sunset is where all these fires.
But you can see where the fires are burning, and it's kind of like eerie looking almost, because you can see where it gets dark, like it gets super dark. And then all you see is flames. So like where the electric is cut from these houses to where like probably the electric thing like has blown. There was this one TikTok I watched. It was so ridiculous. So have you ever seen a transformer blow?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know how to have an electrical wave and you'll see like not flames, but you'll see the electrical wave leave it.
Yeah. It almost looks like a gas.
Yeah. It's so weird. And it's like a reddish orange.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's pretty neat to watch. But there was a transformer blow and somebody was like, oh my God, what's that? The government's causing this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, it's a transformer blowing. Like, I mean, there is some things you look at and it's like, you all are trying to make something out of nothing.
Well, I think people are just so scared anymore. I mean, they're so scared of just everything
the unknown
anymore.
There's so much unknown.
Yeah. And so it's better to blame that or blame that, and just like California right now is doing the blame game. One is saying, this one's to blame, the other one's saying that one's to blame. Who cares what's to blame?
Yeah.
This is what's happening, and there's ways to prevent it. There's clearly resources out there to prevent this from happening. So why not prevent it? Like, I can't say that I'm a very black and white, because I know everything has gray areas and there's different things. But if in fact that it is true, they did not fill their reservoirs and they took down these dams because of this fish.
Yep.
Then that's ridiculous.
And to me, you should have had at least enough, because those fires weren't that big to begin with.
Right.
They grew to that size. So there could have been enough water had those reservoirs been filled up.
And something else that really just, because again, my heart goes out to everybody who's affected by
infected. You're infected.
Affected by these fires. Like that is. But I know a lot of Hollywood elites are losing their homes. And I'm very torn on that, because I don't think anybody should lose their home. Nobody should lose their home.
But when you got 10 homes, you're fine.
And my thing is,
and the money to replace it.
Why not these Hollywood elites have the money to help their neighbors? Maybe their neighbors aren't, Hollywood rich. But
I know. I've seen a man.
People like Paris Hilton, who has lost just one house.
Like, I'm so glad your dogs got out and your kid and stuff, but I don't really give a crap about your house.
Yeah.
Like, there is a man.
You have probably 3 more.
Well, there was a man that lives in California, and he videoed, and I almost cried watching his video because it was just so real. It took you to where he was. But he's watching the fire come up over the hill, and it's a TikTok. I'll have to see if I can find it for you, because I was in tears. But I mean, clearly you have money if you live in the hills of California.
Right.
But a lot of people, they've busted their asses for everything they have.
Right.
And that may be all they have.
That's all they're.
Yeah. And this man is just in tears watching this fire come up over the hill. And he was like, I don't know what to do because I'm stuck. Like, it's coming up both sides of the hill. And he had a kid with him, and he had a few dogs, maybe 2 big dogs. And he was like, I just don't know what to do. They've shut our water off. Like, he showed where, like, his water hose wasn't even working. Like,
why did they shut the water?
They shut the water off for the residents. So a lot of them were having to use like pool water and stuff like that. They didn't even have their water hoses. They couldn't even like hose their house down to keep the embers from catching their house on fire.
And what was the purpose of them doing this?
I don't know. That's why I float between, is it on purpose or isn't it? Because I guess because, like, I would never in a million years run for office. My mouth would not allow it. But if I ran for people and I was to speak for those people, like if I ran for Nelson County and there's some kind of devastation going on in Nelson County, my ass is going to do whatever it takes to make every single last affected person's life go back to normal. Because
they are. They're giving them 100% of for 180 days of whatever they need.
Well, and it's like, what about North Carolina?
Yeah.
What about these people that are freezing? Because and there's still people dying up in the hills and stuff because they don't have homes. They don't have the money to get a hotel, or the hotels are full because there's so many people displaced. There's just so much devastation.
Meanwhile, the Hollywood elites are also hiring and bringing in private firefighters.
Yeah, the big planes.
To put out the fires of their residents, to make sure their residence doesn't burn down.
Well, and then, but I think that's why I'm so like torn, because I don't want to see anybody put out. But then you sit here and the people in the hills are poor, and if they're not poor, they just don't have that money. And
they don't have the means of calling
a
private firefighter,
and that's all they have,
private whatever, up and saying, hey, you know what, I'm living in a tent.
And that's all they have. That is literally all they have.
They lost literally everything.
Yeah, and I sat there and I'm like, these people, like, there was this woman on a video. She said her kids were down at like where the flood had stopped, where a lot of stuff had gotten caught in the flood, and they found like a piece of their front door and a piece of this and that, and the kids were finding parts of the house. And this kid was so excited, like he was on a treasure hunt. The mom sitting there like in tears, just so happy for the kid because he's just so excited that he found the lock that went to the door.
Yeah.
And he doesn't realize, all his childhood memories just got washed away.
Gone.
And like that's why I float so heavy on feeling sorry for the people in California, because I feel like the people in North Carolina and Tennessee and Virginia, they were neglected.
They are.
They are being neglected.
Yeah.
So I think that's where my hardship comes in.
And it's not that one is worse than the other.
No.
Although I'm kind of torn on that too, because
there's a lot more devastation in the East because there was a lot more death. A lot more. This fire, they are calling at least evacuations, but I don't like how they're calling it stay in place, like where you stay in your home. Screw that shit. If that fire gets that close to me, I'm leaving.
To stay?
There is a shelter in place in order in some of the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And they say it's to keep traffic off the roads, but they did that in Maui too. And a lot of people got stuck in their cars.
So let's talk about the traffic, because
have you seen where they're stopping the cars?
Yeah, well, so this was what happened in one of the broadcasts that I watched. They put the evacuation out, so people were leaving their homes and stuff. But when they got out on the road was blocked. There was some kind of something going on with the road. I don't know if it was fire or what. So these people got out of their cars and walked. Yes, they left their cars parked. Well, they left their cars parked in the middle of the road.
In the fire.
So the fire trucks that were coming,
they were bulldozing them off.
Yeah, they were having to.
Yeah, they were bulldozing them out
of the way.
I've seen that. And if they don't, it don't matter.
Came on and he was like, "Okay, listen, if you all are having to leave your vehicles, pull them off to the side of the road. Don't block the.
Where the hell are they supposed to pull it? Because once you get into a traffic jam, you're stuck." But that's like I seen this elder man, and I'm sorry, but if you're going to make them park their vehicles and walk, then your ass should have some means of transportation, whether it be a four-wheeler, a go-kart, I don't give a shit. There is old people that are not able or capable to walk that far. Yeah, there was an old man with a walker, and this woman freaking out.
Military research. Yeah, military. Call in the military too.
But there was this man on a walker, and this woman's freaking out because her car's going to burn. This old man is going as fast as he can with his walker. And I'm like, screw your car. This old man's going to burn to death. Why don't you pick him up? Put him on your back. I don't care. I'm 4'11", and I'll pick his ass up. Like, I'm not going to sit there and watch some old person burn to death while you're concerned about your car.
I don't think that enough.
There's not enough humility and humanity and empathy.
There's not, but I don't think there was enough preparation. And I know a lot of times you cannot prepare for something as devastating as this. Like, I understand that, I get that, but when it repeatedly happens,
it's just
I just feel like you should prepare. Like, it's going to take one good time for me to be in something like that, and I'm going to be like, you know what, I'm going to prepare the best that I can for the next time. Like, I'm not going to be caught
before I end up hitting that and knocking it off of me.
I'm not going to be caught with my pants down in another situation. I mean,
I don't want to see you caught with your pants down either.
What I mean.
But yeah, and that's like I was trying to think. There has there was like an ice storm, a real bad ice storm. I was kind of young. I was probably about 20 when the ice storm hit here. So about 15 years ago.
Yeah, because Dylan was probably like a year, I think.
I didn't know because I was driving.
No, it was 2009, I think.
But if you heard Trish chime in, Trish is chiming in every now and then. No, this was about 15 years ago because I remember because I drove a Camaro and I was pregnant. Or no, I wasn't married yet. So it was the winter of 2009. Sorry, I didn't hear you. I was thinking, my ADHD brain went one way. That was all it was going to do. But anyways, we had that ice storm, and there was a lot of people that went without power for a very long time.
Several weeks.
And I'm pretty sure some elder froze in that. And of course, at the time I drove a Camaro, I wasn't getting nowhere, nobody. I was lucky. I had to call into work constantly because I couldn't go nowhere. Like, I was stuck. And I remember there was a state of emergency then, and That's probably like the worst thing I can remember happening in Kentucky in a long time.
A state of an emergency bullshit. Because to me, if the governor of your state,
like, why are we in one right now?
Calls for a state of emergency, in my mind, that means that everything should be shut down. Like, you should not be out and about. You shouldn't be like, I don't.
Why are warehouses open? Why are there things that can wait a day or two? If you really give a damn about your employees, then you're not going to make them get on the road.
But that, again, that's just the state of, I get the state of emergency. When you do that, then you're able to apply for government funding.
But why don't we have the funds for ICE?
Well, I don't know. This is a catch-22 going on here, because you've got the state of emergency here, but there is more devastation around other places that I feel like
they need
in
more.
The United States. No, I'm not talking to other countries. I'm talking in the United States. They need it more. Go and build houses for these people that are living in tents. Provide. You don't want to build a house? Put them in a hotel. Like, why is that not an option?
Yeah. Why are we not
why is there
figuring
people
out things?
Living in tents in the mountains in this type of weather, and you're worried about a Hollywood elite's house, one of their houses burning. So you're giving them 100% of any kind of funding they need, but yet Mountain Man Dan over here is stuck in a tent praying that he doesn't freeze to death. I don't get it, and it drives me insane.
I don't get it, and it don't make sense to me.
And I'm not talking anything political, because what's wrong is wrong, what's right is right.
I know, and it's so hard for certain people to differentiate that. Like, that's what I was telling you. You'll sit there and you'll say something, and people will turn around and make it political because they think you are, and it's like, no, I'm just discussing the facts. And honestly, I don't even look into who done it. I look into what's being done.
Yeah, I don't care who does it. I don't care Trump, Biden, Kamala. I don't care.
I don't care. Conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican.
Just do it.
Independent, green, whatever it is. What is it?
Just do it. I mean, just get these people out of the tent into.
They need housing. They need warmth. And I'm sorry, but California's cutting the line. Like, let's do one devastation at a time. And I'm sorry, but there's enough, or there should be enough of FEMA and things like that to where we can help both.
Multiple.
Yes. There should not be this problem to where we do not have the help to go around. But there is. And why?
Exactly.
Why is that? I don't understand the, what is it? How they'll say that we're out of funding for it. Sorry, I was like, I know what I'm trying to say. I just cannot get it out of my mouth.
Well, and I don't know. I know FEMA is on the ground in California. They are helping. There is a hotline that you can call if you need assistance. They are offering immediate assistance again. And then I also looked up the assistance for if you are in North Carolina or you know somebody that's in North Carolina. There is the United Way of North Carolina's funds that are available. Volunteer with the Samaritan's Purse. Donate. There's a Baptist on Mission that's there in North Carolina. They're helping with the Hurricane Helene responses. Haywood Christian Ministry is helping with these. They're in Western North Carolina. That's one of the largest food pantries around. You can also call 211, or there's an 800 number that you can call to get help if you are in North Carolina. If you want to donate to North Carolina to help these people find one of these missions and find it out there, get it out there to help them. If you're in California, the current president just released that there is, again, a number that you can call.
The governor?
No, the president.
Biden. Oh, Biden did? Yeah. Okay, sorry. When you said that, I was like, what?
No,
sorry.
Biden did.
I did not go in the right direction.
A number that you can call. There is also a website that you can go on to get immediate help for this devastation that's going on around us. I have not heard or seen too much about Texas, so I'm not 100% sure.
Well, that's kind of like
what's going on there.
The flooding and stuff. There is so many different stories, like them saying that it took forever to get help on the ground, and then there's some people that are like there was help, and then
in North Carolina.
Yes.
Okay. We're back to North Carolina
for the flooding. That's where my head was stuck when you said that, the help and FEMA and stuff like that. But and then not knowing what's true and what's not true.
Right.
And then that's where my brain went just then, because we don't live out there. So we don't know.
Right.
We are going off what locals are saying, because honestly, I don't believe the TVs as much as I believe the locals.
News outlets. No.
Yeah. But, however, there's not really much coverage anyway. So even if
locals are the only thing that's covering it.
Yeah. But.
And there was a local that, and this is where I got the information of the Amish going in to build the tiny homes, because there was a man who was equipped and ready to go in to heat these little cabins.
And he got shut down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I've seen the Amish pick up a whole damn building and carry it.
I know it wasn't the fact that they couldn't do it.
It's just the government shutting them down.
Yeah, they weren't up to code.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But what the hell is code at that point? I'm sorry, but my house was 5 miles the other way. Now it's 10 miles the other way in pieces. Mm-hmm. And I can't even get to my damn house because the road's washed out, and I'm sleeping in a tent on the side of the road. And you're going to tell me that they're going to come build me a tiny house that is going to actually keep me warm. Mm-hmm. And I have children and I can't have it. Screw you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but get screwed. Like I'll try. But that pisses me off, because they're literally, the Amish are going out of their way to help. They don't have to freaking do that. Mm-hmm. And they're doing it out of the goodness of their hearts, because that's what they feel compelled to do. And I don't understand. Yes. If you don't want to help them and you don't want to put these people back in their damn houses, which you can't because they're in pieces, but if you don't want to help them build,
I wonder
what the hell's the problem?
Everybody right now, their focus is California with all these fires that's going on there and everything. And I get that. Again, devastation, it doesn't matter. It hits and it's horrible. But, if somebody was to come in and say, here's a little shed to
keep you warm.
Yeah. Or how about some of these Hollywood elites that have multiple houses that can go to their neighbors who does not have multiple houses and say, hey, come live in my,
come live in my 15-bedroom mansion.
Yeah, in my other house up the road here. You can come stay with me until we get this taken care of, till these fires are gone, till your insurance.
That is the literal shit that has never made sense to me.
I know.
Or doesn't make sense to me, because you have people that all they had was an RV and their RVs are washed away. Mm-hmm. And that's all they had because they traveled. And then you're not helping those people. And
this is, I'm very curious. So if you're in the California area, you happen to see this, whatever, if you've been touched, hey, Paris Hilton, if you happen to see this, because
right.
I told you got one of your houses burnt, I'm so sorry for that. But you also have another house. Go find a neighbor that does not have a house, mm-hmm. and put them up. Let's see that. Let's see that happening in California. Help thy neighbor.
Help thy neighbor. And that's what they're doing in North Carolina. And had they not, there would be so much more devastation.
And North Carolina.
And we keep saying North Carolina, but we are talking about the flooding of Helene. So we're Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, all of those places that are affected. It was just North Carolina that had the most
talked about, and it was
I was ready to say not the most devastation, but Chimney Rock and all those places, they were just talked about the most. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's why my head goes there. Yeah. So when we say North Carolina, just know we're speaking about everyone that's affected by these floods. Because I don't want it to sound like we're just worried about one state, because we're not. The reality of it is it does not affect us. And it just affects people we care about.
We know again that there is severe freezing going on in Texas. Mm-hmm. Reach out to your elderly folk and make sure that they're okay if you're in these areas. Do your research, find your warming stations, and see if you can get to them before it gets too late, before you're not able to get out and find these warming stations. Um, but we'll go ahead and close it up. Again, I want to go over the
You can
things
cut us
that,
off early today.
yeah, cause the weather again here is crappy, and I ain't trying to get stuck in it.
Well, we're going to be stuck right now anyway, so you can't leave. There's a wreck right now. You're not getting down 31.
Oh, jeez. Again, here is some places that you can go to in North Carolina if you need assistance. The United Way of North Carolina, Samaritan's Purse is providing emergency aid. Baptist on Mission, the Haywood Christian Ministry, or you can call 221, and there's an 800 number if you need immediate assistance. And again, the president has released that if you need immediate assistance in California, there is also, you can go on the website for that and get that immediate assistance. They are given 100% for 180 days for those affected in the fires of California.
And I was looking to see, because you were talking about North Carolina, to see like places that people could call in Tennessee and stuff. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it talks about FEMA and stuff. Because we would like to get those places out there.
Reach out to churches in your community. A lot of churches are probably helping. And the Good Samaritan or the Samaritan's Purse, I believe they are in each community. Like that's a national thing.
FEMA designates 4 counties in Tennessee as natural disaster areas due to Hurricane Helene, with assistance available for 11 contiguous counties of Tennessee.
So FEMA, you can still get FEMA
you can
help.
still get FEMA. It's hold on, I'll tell you. Farmers.gov, the Disaster Assistance Discovery Tool, Disaster Assistance at a Glance fact sheet, and Loan Assistance Tool can help you determine program well, that's not any. That says more resources, and it goes into some bullshit.
Well, that's in Tennessee.
Yeah, but reach out, and if there's anything that we can do to help as far as
finding assistance, needing assistance, getting assistance.
Believe it or not, we were prepared for today.
Drop us a message, shoot us a message or something, and we'll see if we can find out exactly what website you need to go to apply for that help.
Yeah, and I mean, if you need the help, don't be too proud to ask, because there is going to be, people need the help. The insurance is not going to cover a lot of stuff. I mean, it's already been told. Who expects their house to flood in the mountains? Right. I mean,
yeah, they don't have the insurance.
Just reach out. Don't be too proud, because I know how us Southern folk can be.
Stubborn.
So stubborn and never reach out, but you need the help.
I mean, there are some, because I think about my family in Eastern Kentucky. If this was to happen, there was a lot of them that probably do not have access to get to reach out for help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whether they don't have cell phones or whatever. Check on these people that are still in these little hollers in these mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Even in California, again, I cannot stress, check on the elderly.
Check on your neighbor.
Yeah.
And then don't expect people just to come asking for help. If you see somebody needs help, give them that help, because there is so many people
they're overwhelmed that they don't know.
Yeah, and can you imagine going to sleep, waking up to the water up to your knees, and not having the chance to get anything out of your home, and just having to leave your home? Like the confusion and just the I cannot imagine that inner hurt.
To escape from the burning flames.
I've literally been robbed before of a TV, and that was devastating. Yeah. Like, I can't imagine a flood or a fire just stealing everything from me. Like, and not having the opportunity. At least I feel like at least with the flood, you have the opportunity, or not flood, the fire, because you can see it coming. But with the flood, they said it rose like quick.
Yeah. And I will say this too in our closing, because we will go ahead and just wrap this up. But if it's because I feel like in some places it's who you know, not what you know. If you know somebody that can get government assistance in there quicker, get a hold of your government officials and have
Yes.
them go into these places, look around, find out what's going on. Why are they not accepting
And if nobody
these
will help,
houses?
stay on them.
Yeah, stay on them. Call them daily. Find out why nobody is
Mm-hmm.
accepting these little houses that these people can move out of tents and live in. Why is this happening?
Even if it's just a tiny
Find
home.
out what is going on with so many fires that keep happening and breaking out in California. Like, stop it before it happens. Be prepared
Mm-hmm.
for the next. Pray to God the next doesn't happen, but you know, get yourself prepared.
Well, and I mean, if you are out east, go to the people that are saying that you can't have those homes, because I would love to see somebody tell me that I couldn't. If I'm living in a tent, I mean, I'm sorry, but it don't get much more out of code than that.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. You got people living in boxes and everything else.
Hey, Governor, how about putting them in your house then? I bet your house is up to code.
Right? I mean, just like, I don't know, ask questions.
And again, we're here to help.
Mhm.
If you all want to reach out to us, we will dig in also and try to find where.
And
we
we'll
can
be
get
more than
help.
happy to. We will definitely help in any way we can.
Thanks for tuning in today, guys. And again, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram. We are on
TikTok is Amber and Kristen.
Yes.
Everything else is Long Branch Talks.
Long Branch Talks. We are on Spotify, iHeart, YouTube. So give us a follow.
Yeah.
Till next time,
please.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, no, you got a second.